Welcome to the ball. Our Kristin and balls. Come on down to the little New Orleans. Yeah. Welcome back to the podcast.
Welcome back to the podcast. Play it forward.
Play it forward.
No one paid attention, but yes, we were gone for a month or so.
Yeah, no one cared.
No one cared. Why are we even doing this?
No, we told you guys we would be at least on a week hiatus. It ended up being like 3 weeks. It's whatever, you know.
It's whatever.
A week, 3 weeks, who knows?
Same thing. 1 and 3.
Same difference.
Almost the same. One straight. One has loop things in it. Half loops. Close enough. If you straighten out a 3, it's a 1 anyway.
Yeah, there you go. So today we have a special guest again, kind of special.
Oh, what?
Well,
kind of special.
Well, I'm just saying, like, outside of the Minecraft community. That's all I'm trying to say.
She sucks. Whatever. Just admit it.
It's Kristin from Child's Play, so look forward to that. So go ahead and skip the game part.
Skip the game part. We're gonna go straight to the interview.
Just kidding. No. So what is the game?
The game is kind of in the vein of the previous one I think we had that spanned 2 episodes, the tournament, right?
The tournament.
It was based on...
Still funny.
It was based on the March Madness. Well, the NFL draft just concluded about a week or so ago. And I had the idea. I wanted to use a draft format in something, so why don't we kind of create our own draft for our own servers? I would be the head of mine. You would be the head of yours. You don't have to follow this guideline, but I set this guideline for myself that I was not going to draft anyone that is on a server that I'm on, that I run currently, or even... I tried not to have anyone that was on a server I was on before.
I actually did the same exact thing.
Okay, cool. So it works just like the NFL draft. There's 7 rounds. First round, you have to pick someone with over 500,000 subscribers. Second round is 499 to 100,000. Third round is 99,000 to 50,000. Fourth round is 49,000 to 10,000. Fifth round is 9 to 1,000, and sixth round is 999 to 100. And of course, number 7, the last round, is 99 to 0 subscribers. I doubt any of us are going to pick anyone with 0 subscribers.
My mom.
But here we go. We got to do a coin toss because the way we're going to work it is because in the normal draft, it's the same. It's the same order every round. But like usually, if you see anyone do a fantasy draft or anything, they'll do whoever starts out first gets the first pick in the first round. Then the next person gets second. And then since there's only 2 of us, we're going to switch it for the second round. So you would get the first pick of that. So basically, say if I win the toss, I'll go first, then you, then you, then me, then me, then you, then you, from there on.
Gotcha.
Just to kind of make it fair, because normally you would win the number 1 spot in the draft by being the most horrible team. So
right.
When it's kind of random, then you kind of want to make it balanced and fair. So
we went ahead and picked all ahead of time.
Yeah.
And I actually used HB Coffins from Seuss Corp, one of our guests, the Seuss Corp list of people to help me out.
Yeah, I use that as well.
It's a great resource.
Minecraft YouTuber list. So we got to do a coin toss to determine who gets the first pick in the annual 2014 Play It Forward podcast draft.
All right, who's got the coin?
You had a coin earlier.
I finally put mine away. That was a month ago. Okay,
I think I got a coin here.
Okay,
let's see.
Okay.
Just out of luck, I have... What I think it's something from like the Cayman Islands, like Cayman Island 5-cent piece.
Okay.
Here we go. So do you want head of some person that's probably dead, or what is that? A lobster?
Lobster. I pick lobster.
Okay, lobster or a dead person. You pick lobster. Okay, and it is lobster. Oh, you get the first
excellent
pick in the draft. So another thing to note is we cannot pick someone that's already been picked. So if you pick someone, I can't pick them.
Well, I don't think you're going to pick this person, but it's kind of obligatory. So 500,000 subscribers or more. My pick is Etho.
Of course, I knew that would be your number 1 pick. So Etho, come on up to the stage.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Just because everybody wants to play with like the first ever person they've ever watched. Like that's always the like goal of a Let's Player kind of, or in the back of their head at least. So I had to,
Mm-hmm. So for me, I have for most rounds I have 2 choices just in case. And this one This was a tough one for me because of the kind of ties that I've had to one of my choices that I have here. But who I ended up going with is someone that I don't really have that many ties to. And so with my number one pick in the 2014 Play It Forward podcast draft, I'm going to go with Vintage Beef. And the reason for that is that I think he is probably the most versatile Mindcracker right now, because he has the entertainment value,
right?
He has the voice, he can build, he does other games and he does them well, and he's a great personality. Like I don't think there's anybody that could say they cannot get along with Vintage Beef,
right?
And I think with a perfect example of the way he's able to work with people that are not in his league in terms of subscribers as well is the Pixelmon server, and how he's always doing stuff with different people on there all the time. So I think he's a valuable asset. I think he's a good number one pick, and he's going to be on my team. So suck it.
I was actually very tempted to pick Vintage Beef when I saw his name on the list, and I was like, something about his voice. You're right. He's got that great personality. I do see him growing. But
he's almost 1 million subscribers right now.
Wow, really? Already?
Yeah, he's at 900,000.
How time flies.
Yep.
I had two written down.
I get to go again. Remember?
Well, no, I'm just saying for round one, I had my two were Etho, and then my backup was Generic B.
Oh, same as well. I had Generic B as my backup here
because we both kind of know him, and he's a great guy. And
yeah.
I
just went with Beef because I thought he was more versatile in terms of starting a new server and everything. I thought he would be for that.
Yeah, you hear that, Jenny B?
Sorry, we're trying to keep it mean and lean here. So
right.
Okay. So number 2 in my server list between 499,000 to 100,000. This one is a tough one, and I'm still not even entirely sure what I want to go with here. You kind of talked about watching someone from the beginning and then wanting to play with them. And so one of the ideas I had here for this pick would be Kurt J. Mack. But because he's so hard to do anything with unless you really know him, I decided not to go with him and just keep him as a backup. And so with the number 2 pick for my team in the Play It Forward podcast 2014, I'm going to go with Pungence because I believe that he would be able to get along with the other people I plan to pick for this server. And he also gets the whole kind of like showmanship of doing an episode, the kind of scripted storyline based stuff. And he's entertaining. So I thought he would be a great pick to add to the list. So with the number 2 pick, I'm going to go ahead and pick Pungence.
Right. He was one of my backups. I had actually 5 people for backup on this one. I had a really hard time deciding. My pick is Good because he runs one of the biggest servers there is. So I know that he could deal with the stress. He could help out. I know that I like his videos. I like his style. He's very level-headed and laid back. Which I think everybody needs someone like that on their server. And, he's a decision maker. He's a good leader. So that's why I picked him. I also had Zisto, DMAC, Badge, Milby as possible options. And Pungence, of course. But that's my pick.
So there you go. That's your pick again because the way we have it set up.
Yeah, I thought it was your pick again.
No, because you picked first, right? Number 1 overall. Then I picked twice in a row. I picked my number 1 pick, then I picked my second pick before you could pick your second pick.
Oh, I'm
so
confused.
Now, if you ever did a fantasy draft in your entire life, you'd know.
All right, well, just tell me what to do. So we're on 3 now.
We're on 3 now, and you get the first pick.
99K to 50K.
Yes.
All right, my pick for this one, I'm gonna pick Tango Tech.
Interesting.
I think he has that classic Let's Play style that's kind of like just the single-player Let's Play that's fun to watch, entertaining, kind of technical, which I love that style of Let's Play. I think we'd get along very well, and I think he's got a lot of room to expand.
Okay. Well, now my third pick of the 2014 Play It Forward podcast draft. This was a tough one. I mean, I never really made a decision till now. I'm going to have to make one. And as my backup for this pick, I had Schism listed. Of course, Schism and Pungence, it would make sense to put them together. But I think I'm actually going to go with Biffa 2001 for this, just because I think he offers a little bit more because kind of adding Schism and Pungence would be almost kind of the same person in terms of their style. Biffa's good with modded series. He's also kind of a
Community guy.
community guy. He's more of, like you said, a level-headed kind of guy that
Right.
is good at coming up with like ideas and decisions and stuff like that. Of course, he had his tea time thing, which is something unique. I think he would be kind of like a good mentor to some of the other people on the server because he's an older guy. He's been doing it a long time, and he also can be entertaining in his own way as well. So he
Right.
goes along with the storyline stuff and everything like that. So I think he would be a good pick. So right now, I got Vintage Beef, Pungence, and Biffa 2001.
I got Etho, Good, and Tango, and Biffa was actually my second pick for that. So interesting.
Okay. Well, now it's my pick again because that's how it goes. We each get 2 picks in a row. And just thought I'd cut you off just in case you got confused there.
Yeah,
But,
I was not gonna say anything. There would have been a 5-minute silence.
Yep. Okay. So the 4th round here, this is between 49,000 subscribers and 10,000. And this is one that I kind of went against what I said before, where I didn't want to have anyone that is currently on our server or that I've been on a server with, because this was like really the hardest one for me to decide because there's
Right.
not too many people
There
that I
aren't.
know.
It's weird
Yeah, there's not too many that I know in this category that I like. There are some.
that I like.
Yeah, I hate them all. No, just kidding. But a lot of them that I've known in this category have gone up to like the next
Right.
2 categories. Pungence is already at 100,000 subscribers. It's ridiculous, you know? So this one was tough. And I don't know. I have 2 people listed here, and I'll say them before I make my decision. I have Lorgon 111 listed because I think he's good at coming up with things. We talked about that before with ideas and everything. He came up with the bingo thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's done more mini games and stuff like that. He has some connections. You know, he knows a lot of different people. He's in the community a lot. He's been around for a long time. And then I have Just Vaughn here, and they're kind of almost similar in some ways, although I think Just Vaughn has more of a presence because he's doing more, you know, he's uploading more videos and stuff.
Right.
And I think I'm going to go with Just Vaughn. And the thing is, me and him don't always agree on everything. A lot of the time we don't. But the thing about him is that I do respect how hard he works at it.
Right. And sometimes you almost need that, like a differing opinion, you know?
And that's the thing for sure. And he knows a lot of what people think at some of the higher levels because he's been close friends with a lot of the Minecraft people as well. So he kind of adds that perspective as well. So I'm going to go with him as my 4th pick in the draft here just because of those factors. Like I said, main factor being that he works so hard that I know that he would put effort into
Right.
getting things done and getting the name of the server out there and everything. And that's definitely what you need
Right.
with a server.
And I picked someone that I don't know at all, Red Eyes from the Hermitcraft server.
Oh, yeah?
Who, even though doesn't upload very often, the style of video that he puts out is incredibly unique. He does his own soundtracks for each of his Let's Play episodes. He always has a table of contents in the description so you can skip around. There's a lot of work that goes into them, and his designs are completely original. A lot of times with technical players, they all share each other's ideas and share each other's designs, which is great. But with Red Eyes, he just does completely original stuff every time, and it's just really fun for me to watch. So that was my pick for number 4.
Okay, that's cool.
And I actually didn't have a backup because I knew you wouldn't pick him, and and also I was just like, there's not many people in this range. Because I was trying to do people I didn't know, so
yeah,
hadn't played with. That is.
Yeah, it's your pick again.
Okay, so on to 5 then.
Yep.
This is the 9K to 1K subscriber range. I have 2 for this one, but I think I'm gonna go with HFog, who you might not have heard of, but it's funny. He's another technical player, or relatively another kind of like Tango Tech with that classic. Let's Play style, and looking at the list of people I have like Etho, Tango, Red Eyes, HFog, that would be quite the server as far as technical stuff.
Yeah, that's definitely what you're going for.
But I love the way HFog runs his channel, and it's really, really original. So a lot of the stuff I'm going for is originality as well, which I think he definitely has new stuff to bring to the table.
Do you have any backups for that one or no?
I do. Zul'jin.
Oh yeah, nice, interesting. Well, okay. So now it's time for my fifth pick. Right now, just to give people a little bit of a picture of what we have so far, we have Vintage Beef, Pungence, Biff of 2001, and Just Vaughn. So for the fifth pick, I decided to go with. I had Zul'jin as a backup as well, but I decided to go with Cthulhu 2, a guy that we've done some stuff with
Right.
before. He was in one of the UHCs and stuff. The reason I went with him is because over Zul'jin, I kind of really equate them to being almost at the same level. Zul'jin, of course, has been around a lot longer, and he's probably more well known in the community. But the reason I went with Cthulhu 2 is because I see him as having the most potential for growth and someone that I think under the right conditions with the right people could have a really good channel under his hands. So what I decided to do was go with him and pair him with these people and kind of see how he would do with a server full of some bigger names that
Right.
that have more experience. Because like I said, he can do a lot of different things. He can do the kind of serious, straightforward Let's Play. He can do some funny stuff. He can do a little bit of scripted stuff like that, you know? So that's why I decided to go with him. And like I said, the only reason I didn't go with Zul'jin here is just because I felt he kind of has already made a name for himself. And
Right.
with these smaller people, I kind of wanted to go with people that have great potential under the, I guess you could say, tutelage of some of these bigger guys to become a success.
Mm-hmm. All right, so whose turn is it now?
Okay, I believe you did two in a row then, so
You're
now
right.
it's my turn again. This one is the sixth round. It's between 999 subscribers, so just under 1,000, to 100. And I decided to go with a guy that we kind of know a little bit, but I don't think either one of us have done too much with. I'm actually going to do something with him in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think this weekend we're planning to record something, but it's Swordfish Plays.
Right,
He's a member
yeah.
of Decidedly Vanilla. Just checking him out a little bit. I've seen some of his stuff. I've seen his channel trailer that he put together just recently. I think that he's a funny guy. He has potential, and he's a really small channel. So I think with these people paired with him, I think he could easily hold his own, and I think he would be a good member to pick for this spot. So that's why I decided to go with Swordfish Plays.
Cool.
I didn't have any backups for that.
For this one, I was scared you might take it. Ever since you gave him the shout out the other day, I've been watching his stuff, and it's Joe the Pirate.
Oh yeah.
And I've been looking at his stuff, and it continually makes me laugh, like again and again and again. His style just seems so mature and honestly like something you would find on a much bigger channel. So I see a ton of potential there. And also just the stuff he does with storylines and being just an all-around personality in his videos. He's really good at that. So I went with Joe the Pirate. I had a backup of maybe Danny Whoever or Derp Guru, but again, from another podcast. But I ended up going with Joe the Pirate.
Okay, there you go. Now it's your pick again.
All right, for number 7, this one was kind of a no-brainer for me because I don't know too many people under the 99 subscriber
It's
mark.
tough.
Of course, there's Rick Clark, but we already play with him. So I went with Rainquest LP, who's a good friend of mine. He went through and watched all of my Flat World videos. So that's how I really got to know him, just from his comments on there. And then from knowing Drakart and playing with him a little bit. And I just like to get to know Rainquest. I think he's a good guy. And he does the sort of skyblock stuff, so he's, it's kind of similar to Flat World in a way. So I think we'd get along very well. So that's why I chose him.
It's definitely a good pick. And so now here it is, the final pick in the draft, my 7th pick. This is a guy that I've done some stuff with before, and at least of him by name, at least. He's kind of been around our group for a while. Mm-hmm. And that is Rook Bukas. This kid, I think he has a lot of potential. The reason I picked him is because he is a kid, and I see him put so much time and effort into his channel. Not a lot of kids really do that, and not a lot of adults that claim to be like professional or want to put a lot of effort into their channel, put as much effort in as I see this kid doing. And he's a small channel too. I believe he has around 70 videos and he only has like 70 subscribers. So obviously he's producing content. And that's like one of the most important things to me is people just actually putting in the work with it, because of course it's supposed to be fun, but it's work too. Otherwise, like if it was just going to be fun, people would just post little stupid 3 minutes videos here and there, and no one would care about it because people want to see you also put work into it. I mean, like the ethos and stuff like that. They put a lot of time into coming up with these inventions. It takes time. So that's why I picked him, because I thought he was another one that had some good potential. So I ended off with... Yeah, final team. I ended off with myself, of course. Vintage Beef, Pungence, Biffa 2001, Just Vaughn, Cthulhu 2, Swordfish Plays, and Rook Bucus.
And my server, the Mog Swamp server, would be Etho, Good, Tango Tech, Red Eyes, H-Fog, Joe the Pirate, and Rainquest LP.
Nice. I like how we kind of didn't really make it out like it was all Minecraft or all Hermitcraft, because we kind of mixed it up a bit. And I have 2 Hermitcraft members. I have 1 Minecraft. I believe you have 2 Minecraft, 1 Hermitcraft, so it was pretty much the same on both sides. So,
and I think you thought more about the ending team than I did.
Yeah.
For me, it was actually kind of a struggle just to choose someone from each range who I thought like just me and him would get along with the best. And I was thinking less about the whole group dynamic, but I think I actually ended up with a pretty good group dynamic. Anyways, we're all kind of technical classic Let's Players. Like pretty much everyone on that list does a really classic Let's Play, but is also has like these strange original elements within that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like the classic format, but with a lot of originality to spice it up. So, and that's myself included. That's kind of what I do, just on a flat world, which is the original part of it. So, yeah. What about
classic
your team?
Flat. My team, I think there's kind of down the middle, like you said. There's one correlation between all the channels. There is the entertainment aspect, I believe, for the most part. I think some people are more about the classic Let's Play than being entertaining. But I think for the most part, everyone can find a common ground to be able to produce videos together, where each one of these people on the list for my team, I think, would be able to have no troubles at all doing a collab together. And that was the most important thing to me, to make it feel like a solid group together instead of just a bunch of people on a server together.
Right.
So I think there's enough difference in people, and there's enough in common with people that this would be a successful server. So Vintage Beef, Pungence, Biffa, Just Vaughn, Cthulhu, Swordfish, Rook Bucus. If you guys are watching this, listening to this, whatever you're doing, you guys want to start a server or what?
Time to actually make these servers happen and have a contest. See who has the biggest collective audience at the end of it. No, but yeah, I think it was a fun exercise just to see where other people are at in the YouTube community. You know, we're not playing favorites or really, trying to make it a contest, just trying to like analyze what's going on in the community, who might be up and coming, has a lot of potential. So
this is something good to look back at later on and see if like some of these people that we picked as in the lower rounds, if they end up being like a bigger channel and being up there with some of these other people. And I think what the purpose of this game is to kind of give our takes on what we see in certain channels, both on the highest level and the lowest level, and see how kind of a lot of, like, the thing is, people always look at subs more than anything, but you can find things that 2 people do well and do just as well together, just they're on different ends of the spectrum.
Totally different rounds.
Yeah, it's crazy. So
I'm sure Etho and Rainquest LP would get along very well.
Yeah.
So thank you for participating in our game. You should actually, if you're listening, make your own draft.
Make your own draft in the comments. Put your top 7 picks of who you would want go along with the same format and everything, and it'd be interesting to see what these other servers like, what other people's idea of like a good balanced server would be.
Right. So without much further ado, we're going to move on to the interview.
Brought to you by Rice-A-Roni.
The San Francisco Treat.
Okay, guys, we got the draft all out of the way, and now it's time for the interview segment of the podcast. Of course, we're recording this completely in order, right, Mog, as we usually do?
Oh, yes, of course.
Yes. And we have, as our special guest today, Kristin Lindsay of Child's Play Charity. Most people listening should know what Child's Play Charity is. I mean, it's pretty much all over the place in the YouTube Let's Play community. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us. And it was actually Mog, right? You're the one that set this whole deal up, right?
Right. I went to PAX East and I saw that you guys were doing a panel there. That's what it's called.
Right.
And,
that's what it's called.
It was really weird because I was all alone at that point, and I sat in the line for like an hour, just assuming it was going to be packed, and there actually didn't end up being that many people. But
Wah, wah.
but like a fair amount of people showed up. But you guys had a big room.
Yeah, it was a large theater, so
Yeah.
we did not pack the theater, but there was a
Right.
pretty, I think it was a respectable attendance.
Yeah, no, totally. And a lot of cool things happened. I met the Cookie Brigade for the first time. That was really cool.
They are awesome.
I bought like 5 cookies. They're these people who just go around the convention and just sell homemade cookies to you, and then
Well,
donate
they're
it
not
all,
technically they're not selling the cookies.
Right,
They're
right.
Giving the cookies away in exchange for a donation of
Donations.
your choice. Yes.
Yeah.
But they'll have like just dozens of different kinds of cookies because they end up baking thousands of cookies for this thing, and it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Did they ever come across like a big fat guy that just starts pigging out on all the cookies and he's like, "Oh, sorry, I don't have any cash on me."
Don't not that I know of.
Okay, good.
He's got
Because
a
I mean,
donated
That
technically
would
that
really not
could,
be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Technically, they could get away with it, but you know, it'd be a
Everybody,
jerk move.
I think most people have always been very, very, very generous with their donations when
Yeah.
eating all of the cookies.
Yes.
So that was really cool. And then I attended the panel, and I learned so much about Child's Play.
Yay.
But it's funny because you had a panel to go to right after, and I didn't want to like go up and ask if you'd be on a podcast like on the open mic. I was like, that would be so awkward because everybody's going up there and being and pretty much everyone who had a question started off by saying, "Here's how much we raised," and it was like in the hundreds or the thousands. And then here I am just gonna go up there like, "I donated to you once. Be on my podcast."
No, that's the reality of what most of our support is.
Right.
It's we don't. I wouldn't say that the rule is people donating thousands of dollars.
Right.
That's not it. It's usually I donated once, or I just I have this thing I want to do, and the majority of our support comes at a very small level. So, well, not small level, a lower level, I guess.
Right.
And yeah, it was funny. So Jamie, my colleague, and I, she's the program coordinator at Child's Play. She and I literally had a panel starting we were late for it. Like it was scheduled for some reason immediately after, and at the other side of the convention center.
Right.
So normally we do get to stick around after the panel and talk to everybody, and I've spent upwards of an hour hanging out after a panel. But in this case, unfortunately, we had to sprint. But you gave me your card,
Right.
At very brief. And it was quickly like, "Hi, I'm Mog. I want to talk to you. Bye." And
Being carried off by security.
I think I was basically at
Yeah,
that
pretty
point.
much.
I think we were being dragged by our assistants off to our next panel. But I have to say that I think I mentioned this to you. Your card was quite compelling. Like I liked your
thank you.
card,
Thank
and
you.
I'm not. It's not like I usually just throw away cards or anything like that. No, I do actually keep all of them. But there was something about your card that because it has your icon on it, which is sort of like the creeper head with the sword in it, and it says Mog on it, and it was like, oh, this is cool. This guy's got a Minecraft card, and it floated around my desk for a while just because I thought it was intriguing. So. When you contacted me afterwards and you said, "Hey, remember me? We passed each other very briefly after your panel." I was like, "Yes, I totally know who you are because your card is right here on my desk."
Which completely surprised me because from my point of view, I didn't even mention the podcast. I just said, "I'll talk to you later." I was just like
that, yeah.
I'm pretty sure I didn't say like hi. Like I tried my best, but I didn't say like, "Hi, I'm Mog Swamp. Like here's my card." I was like, "Can you take this?"
Take this card. No, I mean it ended up all working out. It must have been kismet because I think I was literally being pulled away at that moment, and it was kind of like we stretched to reach out so that you could pass me the card, and then I was.
It was like that painting of God touching man.
That's right. I was like, "Give me your card, goodbye."
Just stick a business card in the middle of their fingers, and that's
No, but it has to be a very interesting business card. I think that's what sold it for me was that I was intrigued by the Minecraft card.
I think in most cases, if you come up to someone randomly, give them a card and say, "I'll talk to you later," usually you're not going to see them again.
See, actually, I just found it. It's still on my desk. And
Oh, really?
Yeah, it is. Home of the world's best flat world. It says
There
so
you go.
right here. Yeah,
That's me.
so it's true.
So
we go.
before we get started with the questions, I just wanted to make it clear, because I didn't know this, is that Child's Play is just you, your colleague, I forget her name.
Jamie.
Jamie.
Yep.
And then an intern?
Correct. Yes.
That's incredible.
That's
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
basically it. And the intern, we've actually he's just come on board recently, David, and he's basically saving our butts because he's been doing the administrative stuff. So
Nice.
but aside from him, it had just been Jamie and I for quite a while. So
Cool.
we're really glad to have the extra pair of hands.
That's cool. I was actually checking out your website because just beyond like hearing about you guys through mostly Kurt J. Mack, which obviously is a big supporter of Child's Play. That's how I first heard about Child's Play.
too.
Otherwise, before that, all I thought of was Chucky, the movies. You know?
No.
So I was looking at the website, and I guess you guys started out in 2003, which is further back than I would have guessed. But I was looking at the testimonials, and I wanted to read this one because it kind of stands out and it kind of relates to me a little bit. And it's it goes, I walked into a patient's room and he immediately started crying when I mentioned that I had a Nintendo DS from Child's Play charity a few years ago to lend to him. He smiled and calmed down immediately. His mom couldn't believe it was the first time she had seen him smile since arriving at the hospital. Of course, when this happened to me when I was a kid, I was hit by a car just going through a crosswalk when I was 5 years old, and I was in the hospital for, I don't know how long it was, but I had a broken leg, a concussion. I had to be pretty much in a body cast because my leg was broken so high. The story goes that I was just so upset, and I wouldn't talk to anyone, and I was just sitting there in the bed just mad about it. And then I think it was my uncle brought in my Nintendo Entertainment System and hooked it up. All of a sudden, I was happy, and I was just like, that's like a perfect example. I mean, it wasn't Child's Play itself, but the concept was there.
Yeah.
How it helps kids, you know, it just as a little distraction, you know, it helps out a lot in terms of changing the mood, and
It does.
with
It's
with
really
kids, it's
incredible.
really important, you know. Just
The word that we hear a lot from clinicians is normalizing. It normalizes their environment, and because it's, if you contrast, you know, their living room with a hospital room, it's you know, night and day. It's very different, and it's that makes it scary for young children. It's a difference in surroundings. It's a difference in routine. It's, you know, being comfortable and being very uncomfortable and in pain. But when you bring in something that's so quintessentially fun and home and, you know, having a good time, it can really help tilt the balance a little bit in favor of just making it a more comfortable experience for kids. And I mean, that's not something we knew going into it, but it's something that we learned very quickly that doctors and child life staff were telling us was a result of bringing games into the medical environment. So that was really cool for us to learn.
Yeah, definitely. It's good because it's a way for you to be active, have your brain active, and even like still somewhat physically active if you're playing a game. Instead, like, before then, what are you going to do in the hospital? You're just laying there, maybe watching TV. It's just like it kind of, it makes you be more active and just kind of keep your mind going, keep your mind off of the pain and all that stuff. So it's definitely a good thing. And I think it's cool to see you guys doing something like this, because a lot of charities, I don't know, it's just hard to explain, but a lot of them go for like the most obvious routes. But Child's Play charity is something that people wouldn't really think about as a way to help children in the hospital, and then it's probably one of the best ways to help them. You know, just give them games, make the environment more normalized, like you said. It helps out a lot, and I know from personal experience.
There are many needs, right? And you know, we do have people ask us, you know, well, why would I support Child's Play if I could support, you know, cystic fibrosis research or something? You know, there are a lot of causes, of course, and they're all worthy. They're all good things to support. We're just addressing one particularly small slice of the pie that is, you know, child welfare. So we're doing it because it's something we love personally. You mentioned we were founded in 2003. We were founded by the Gabe and Tycho, the writer and the artist behind Penny Arcade, a webcomic. And they created the charity as a reflection of their love of video games and their desire to do something good with that love. So they knew that their peers and that the video game community would be on board with supporting it. And I started pretty much right afterwards at Child's Play. And, I'm a gamer, and that's my passion and hobby and background as well. So it was a lot of fun for us to take something that's basically a hobby for us and see it in a philanthropic light, and to learn about the therapeutic benefits of it, to learn about the good that it can do, in addition to what was just for us our big hobby.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, like, starting out helped you guys grow and get to as big of a charity as you are now?
Well, it's 100% the community. Like what we do is basically just provide a sort of a structure for video gamers and the video game industry to support. Yeah, it's a platform. That's basically all it is. We don't do a lot of activism. We don't campaign for funds. We don't have newsletters. We don't have television ads. There's basically no way to find out about Child's Play except through podcasts like this, and Minecraft marathons, and rock band events, and all sorts of things that gamers are doing in order to help raise funds and spread the word. So I mean, that's it for evangelism. There's no other way that you're going to find out about Child's Play. It's not going to be on your evening news, really. So if we didn't have the support of the community like this, there probably wouldn't be a Child's Play today.
Yeah, you mentioned that at the panel. Which was another surprising fact for me, was just that you guys have never done any advertising.
No, our overhead in terms of how our expenses is pretty ridiculously low compared to a lot of standard charities. It's under 5% of the cash donations that we collect. So you mentioned that Jamie and I are the only full-time employees, and then we have an intern who is paid. I just want to mention that he's an intern, but we do pay him. And then there's shipping, which is our biggest expense. In order, to ship, we do a big purchase order every year, and the shipping is the biggest sort of item expense. But aside from that, there's nothing. We know how much people hate getting junk mail. Why would we want to do that? It's ridiculous, right? We're just not one of your cookie cutter charities that does mailings and does advertisings and things like that. We ask the community. Well, we don't even really ask, but the community does it for us, and they do a far more effective job than any ad campaign I think a standard charity does. So why change it? Because it's been obviously quite successful.
So I think for sure. For example, Kurt J. Mack has basically dedicated the next 10 years of his life to promoting Child's Play charity.
Yeah, exactly.
It's mind blowing, really. It's really humbling for us because. Jamie and I and David, we work very hard on trying to put all the infrastructure together and to have this platform, as you said, for everybody to help. But the dedication that people have put into it is absolutely awe-inspiring. And every single day we talk to people who've just dedicated so much of their lives to it, and we're just so grateful. It's been a really just the best way ever to meet people in our community and to. I can't even put into words how amazing it's been.
At PAX, that was I met so many people just in line for your panel. that had done such cool things, so.
I know. And I mean, it's so generous. They're doing it out of just a desire to help and a passion for video games or whatever kind of game. It's not necessarily all video games. They're completely platform agnostic, really. But coming in and just saying, hey, this was really important to me. Having a DS when I was in the hospital when I was a kid, a lot of them have personal stories or experiences with their own children, and they recognize the value of it, and they want to pay that forward, and it's been amazing.
Speaking of pay it forward, you're on the
Play It Forward
podcast. There you go.
Yep. So
play on words.
But you mentioned that one of the reasons, or the biggest reason you don't advertise is because of the community. So my question about that is, what do you think separates the gaming community from other communities in that way? And what patterns have you seen within, Let's Plays, or to be specific to our podcast, Minecraft. Like,
well,
why do you think this community specifically is able to achieve that?
That's a great question, and I mean I can speculate. I
Right.
think that because a Child's Play, I've heard it described as the voice of the video game community, or the philanthropic voice of the video game community. The fact is that we're representing one of the things that we're all the most passionate about anyway. It's
Right.
when you look at other charities, they're not necessarily representing something that is core to our personal values or our lifestyle necessarily. I mean, they're good causes, but they're not as relatable, I think, as saying that we're the video game charity, or the charity for video games, or one of the charities. I mean, there are others.
Right.
So, when you say, well, what is the patterns? What are the patterns with, let's say, Minecraft and Minecraft Let's Plays? Minecraft is such a huge phenomenon within our community. It's interesting. It's a really fun spectating sport, I think, and a community activity. If you're going to go in and you're going to build a world together, it's fun to watch. It's fun to do. And it can be, when you invite people to come in and take part in that, and then say, hey, while we're taking part in this, building this world, let's raise money for charity as well. It's very compelling. People want to do that. They want to take part in that. And it's sort of easier to persuade people to get involved when they're doing something that they love anyway, and that they're getting an opportunity to pass that love on to children who could really use some recreation. So when that, if you don't raise enough money to donate an Xbox on which children can play Minecraft, like it's kind of, it makes this really great circle of everybody sharing their passion.
Right. Oh, and that's another thing you mentioned at the panel, was that even if you can only donate a few dollars might be an app on an iPad that children in a hospital play hundreds and thousands of times.
Exactly.
Which that's such a cool way of looking at it, because you don't think like that. You think, oh, I got to dish out $20, maybe $100, and I can't really afford that. It's almost the same thing with that site Patreon. I don't know if you're familiar with it. That all the little bits add up to become something great.
And it's 99 cents will buy an app, right? That's something that we know. We're consciously aware of that. But when you think of it in context and think, okay, well, through the amazing support of the Child's Play community, we've been able to provide an iPad, let's say, to a hospital. That iPad it doesn't just sit on one shelf and stay there forever. It gets handed to a different kid every single day.
Right.
And whatever apps are on it that cost 99 cents to put there are going to be used by different children multiple times a day. And I mean, it just adds up so quickly, because we're not providing one iPad, we're providing dozens of iPads. And, you have a dozen people each spend 99 cents for that app. It just, the numbers just go up exponentially so quickly. And with 80, almost 90 hospitals in our network, all of them having, dozens of iPads with thousands of apps. It's just, when you try to, people ask us sometimes, can you give us a figure? How many children per year is Child Play assisting? And it's so difficult for us to figure out, because we can look at how many children each hospital serves, and we can look at, but I mean, we're dealing with hundreds of thousands so quickly. And it's pretty amazing to think that a $1 donation really is going that far. It's totally realistic. Like we're not pipe dreaming these numbers. It's really $1 will help thousands of children through Child's Play.
It's funny because you kind of don't think about it. Like you said, people don't realize it at first, because if you're a gamer, and usually you are if you're going to support Child's Play charity, but you think about yourself in your room with your systems and your games on your computer and everything, or your personal phone, you're not going to hand that out to people, let them play their apps and everything. So when you think about it, you think, okay, well, basically what I have but public, and anybody in the community can play it, that it grows exponentially. Like so many people can benefit from one little thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's cool about it. Not a lot of charities can say that they have that big of a reach just by providing one item to one building, you know. So
yeah,
that's what's really cool. Speaking of that, like, what are some of the specific cases where you guys have helped out that stand out the most? I know you do have the testimonials, of course, on the website, which people can check out at childsplaycharity.org, but maybe something that you were personally involved with that still sticks into your head from your time with the charity as probably one of the biggest differences you guys have made.
Oh man, I mean, every day we Jamie and I get email with a different story in it, and they're just, we often joke that Jamie and I were the biggest saps. Like we spend half our time crying because we get these totally heartfelt, touching emails that just wreck us. We need someone with like some real steel in his spine, and I think David's serving that role for us right now. Yeah, exactly. Like he has to deal with Jamie and I weeping our way through our inbox every day, but it's. Because not every story is a happy ending. That's something that we've learned. We sort of, just by the nature of what we're doing, where it's video games and it's it's sharing passion, and we tend to be ridiculously optimistic a lot of the time. But we are dealing with sick children, and we are dealing with kids in palliative care or kids with cancer, and a lot. Some of them, it's not going to be a happy ending, but we're able to make it more comfortable and use the time that they have left.
Know that you made a difference.
Yeah, knowing that we made a difference. So there's that. A story, I think I actually told this story at the panel, so you'll have to forgive me, Mog, for repeating myself. But one of the things that I always think of that for me was kind of the most interesting discovery was when iPads were, I guess it's probably, for the hospitals, it's probably been about 4 years or so since they've realized how valuable iPads are in a therapeutic setting. It sort of took a while for it to universally catch on, where they could all say, oh wow, this is the perfect tool for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So one of the first emails we got after we started sending iPads to hospitals was from a pediatric hospital, where they said, we don't know if this is common or if you've ever heard this before, but we want to tell you what we're using our iPads for. And we thought, oh, hey, that's great. They're playing games on it, or they're using it for like autistic kids with communication suites or something. But no, it was way more basic than that. And what this woman explained to Jamie and I was, she said, so we're a pediatric hospital in an urban center. She said, if there is something like a car accident or any kind of accident or event where the entire family has been injured. And she said, say, for example, a car accident, which is pretty common. Mm-hmm. She said, you've got the whole family in the car, and there's been a serious car accident. Well, the parents are sent to the general hospital, and the children are sent to the pediatric hospital. They're not in the same hospital.
Right.
So they had been taking the iPads and putting FaceTime on and just putting it on the kids' bedside tables. Because it was so, not only are they in pain and they're hurting and they're in the hospital room, but mom or dad isn't there, and mom or dad is in the same boat in a different hospital. Yeah. So they would put the iPads on the bedside tables and just leave them on like the whole time with FaceTime, so that they had basically a talking picture of mom and dad on the bedside table. And like that just got us.
Yeah.
Jamie and I were just like, oh my gosh, that it's so simple. It makes so much sense, and it's huge. Like, can you imagine?
Someone to
can
touch
you imagine?
It.
Oh man, exactly. And that was exactly it. It was almost like this kind of Harry Potter thing, right? Where you're going to have like a moving picture of dad on your bedside table, and he's got his iPad and he's in his hospital bed, but they could share. They could share what was going on. They could talk, and the parents could, sing lullabies to their kids at night. They could assure them that everything was going to be okay. Like, it was so profound and so simple, and so genius. Like, we thought, man, who came up with this? But it's like the most perfect application of an iPad that we could possibly think of, and it was so much more basic than we're thinking, oh, what games are they playing? Well, no, they're just using them as lines of communication,
Right.
and making such a huge difference. Like it really affected me personally to think that we were giving them that tool that was allowing kids to have their parents with them after a serious full family accident, and
Really cool.
that was just so cool.
And that's good,
Yeah.
not just for them, like, to be comforted by their parents, but also, like, you're a kid, you don't know what's happening with your parents. You want to know if your parents are okay too. They could even see,
of
okay, look,
course.
mommy's okay,
Oh.
daddy's okay, so
On so many levels, and then
Yeah.
when and then also having it as to play music and to play games and to watch shows,
Right,
because
yeah.
they're watching Netflix on it and stuff like that as well. It became, the iPad became the perfect solution to so many of those issues.
So many resources.
Exactly. That's all linked to one device. So
and it's all
we're pretty-
compact and everything too. So
I know, it's incredible. It's when the more I think about it, the more it amazes me. And there, when you look at, there's an app for pretty much everything. We give our partner hospitals a lot. Every year we buy iPads and we buy iTunes gift cards as well, and they can just go crazy with whatever they want to put on it, whatever they think is going to be useful. And hearing some of the stories coming back to us of what they're doing with the iPads is really amazing.
Cool.
it just goes to show. I would assume that most people that would try to downplay the impact of the charity would be people that don't see the importance in, like, video games or recreation and stuff like that. And it just goes to show, like, with the technology and everything, and like an iPad pretty much made for recreation, right? Showing how, like, humans basically can adapt things that are made for recreation for other uses too, to be beneficial for people that are in need and stuff like that. And then also having that ability to use it for recreational purposes as well. It's just like,
It's a double whammy.
yeah, it's like
Absolutely, yeah.
it's like with the iPad, when they invented it, I don't think they thought of it having this kind of an impact. Just
Right.
like you guys, when you donated it to them, didn't think it would have this kind of impact.
No,
So
exactly.
It's
And
just crazy to see.
we've got stories like that for everything. It's really been an incredible learning experience on our end, and finding out what people have been doing with things. Like the Wii was a huge
Right. I was gonna bring that
learning
up.
experience. Yeah, exactly. Like we've heard about. There's a spinal rehabilitation facility in Connecticut that uses Wii balance boards to teach not just children but patients of all ages develop they'll play Wii ski to redevelop balance after a spinal injury. So they're essentially learning to walk again using balance boards. They use Wii's, like Wii bowling and Wii tennis and stuff for rehabilitation for arm injuries and shoulder injuries, just building up the muscle. They can use a Wii or a Play Motion or any of those, a Kinect. Any of the motion sensors can be used they can duplicate physiotherapy, what would be normal physiotherapy, kind of boring and have a low compliance, especially
Right.
with children, into a fun activity that they are eager to do, or they want to beat their top score, and they use those as incentives as a lot too. Because you have your score, you can say, "Wow, look what your score was last week," and look
Right.
what you're
It's
doing
it's
this week.
visible. It's tangible.
Exactly.
You can
exactly.
see
Like,
your
you
your
are
growth.
making an improvement. You are getting better. Like that, just the incentivization and being able
And
to see
it's
that
and it's just leagues more fun than exercises. and
precisely.
stretching.
Yeah, exactly. So we've seen those with all of the major consoles because they all have motion technology now. We've seen even really goofy things like we read a study where some ophthalmologists were using Nintendo 3DSs to treat children with I can never pronounce it correctly, amblyopia. I can't remember. It's basically kids who are cross-eyed.
Interesting.
There's exercises that kids use, that they use with kids to try and train their eyes to strengthen the muscles and to correct the vision, that they can duplicate using the 3D vision on a DS. And of course, way more fun. They were
Right.
having they'd done this study, and it was something crazy, like 1 hour of DS time was equal to 7 hours of just the ophthalmologic exercises.
Oh
Like,
my goodness.
because they were so much more. They didn't realize they were doing it. When they're doing the
Yeah.
exercises, their attention wanes. They don't really want to go through with it. They're kind of only putting half effort into it. But if they were playing, Zelda in 3D, not a problem. They were totally cool, and the kids were their eyes were improving so much more quickly. And even just using it as a diagnostic tool for these conditions. Basically, it was like they put it into 3D mode, give it to the kid. Can he see the 3D? Yes or no? If the answer is no, then they have a problem, right? Like
Right.
it had replaced these complicated tests.
It's even got a
just by
slider.
having I know, it's the craziest thing, right? So every piece of hardware we offer, someone comes back to us saying, "Oh yeah, this is really cool, and we're using it this way," and we think,
Right.
"Wow, that's really innovative. Good for you." So it's been
And then they
crazy
can
period.
tell you, and you can tell other hospitals. Whereas if this one hospital was doing something innovative, maybe it wouldn't have gotten that same reach.
Exactly. Well, they're pretty well connected. Like, we get a lot of hospitals that join our network now, new hospitals, find out about us from other hospitals. Like, there's
Interesting.
a big annual child life conference. I think it's in New Orleans this year. But after that conference, it happens in the summer. Every summer, we just get a ton of hospitals contacting us because the child life professionals get together at this big annual thing, and they're all talking about, we've got Child's Play offering us this equipment, and we can do really cool things with it. And like when you have an iPad replacing so many, it's replacing a CD player, a DVD player, a television. Like, it's just cost effective, right, for them to switch to these new technologies, and they're not necessarily technologies that they may have had the opportunity to use and to try out if it hadn't been for Child's Play. So that's pretty cool.
All right, so just moving on. I was just this is more of a curiosity, but which third party has been responsible for helping contribute the most to Child's Play, or I guess what has been the most successful? It depends on what you see as a success, but
Yeah, no, that's an interesting question. I thought about it, and it's kind of hard to say specifically because it's not like when we think of a third party, it's not one group or one person, right? Because they are all community based. But
Right.
if we take something like I think one that people are very familiar with is Desert Bus for Hope, which is an annual video game marathon where they're playing what's essentially known as the worst video game of all time. It's kind of like, I describe it to people as saying that it's an internet telethon. Because it ends up being a week long, and the people who run it are completely insane. So they have fun, and it's, you've basically got a mix of sketch theater and raffles and competitions, and
Right.
it's all structured around this incredibly boring video game. But if I say Desert Bus, a lot of the Child's Play community knows what that is. But Desert Bus in itself is thousands of people, right? Like, it's Loading Ready Run, the comedy troupe that puts it on. It's all of the volunteers who help them put on the show. It's everybody who is in the chat. It's everybody who donates. So it's, I can say, well, Desert Bus has historically raised quite a lot of money for us. It's still individual people donating their time, their money, and their effort into putting it together. Another name that immediately I think of is Humble Bundle, which is it's basically a delivery platform for all sorts of content where people pay what they want in order to access. Originally started with just sort of indie games, but they have Humble Bundles now for music and for books and for, there's comic book ones I think that are just finishing today.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, there's all sorts of Humble Bundles now of all different kinds of created content, and the coolest thing about that is that when people decide how much they want to pay for the content, there's usually they have a roster of charities that they use, and it's not always Child's Play. Like right now, the comic book ones, it has the Comic Legal Defense Fund, I think, is one of the charities. So something that kind of ties into whatever the content is, and people can choose to donate however much of what they're paying to that charity. And I mean, that's been amazing. And when people decide how much they're going to pay, and they decide how much they're going to add to the charity as well, that has been hugely successful for us. So we're really fortunate that Humble Bundle has treated us so well and has put us as one of their charities that they support for various bundles. So
I didn't even
also
think of that, because I've bought like 3 or 4 of those.
Yeah,
and,
it's pretty amazing.
It's been a while, but I just completely forgot that you guys were on there. So that's really cool.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we're not always one of the charities. They sort of try to kind of mix it up a bit, which is awesome. And we're grateful every time we're there, and then we're excited every time that we see some other charities getting exposure there as well. Humble Bundle itself is such a cool idea. We just love the whole platform as a sales platform, like regardless that it's raising money for us. So yeah, we're big fans of Humble Bundle and what they do, and they have treated us very well as a charity fundraiser.
Yeah, it's just interesting to see, because like you guys said, where you're not going out and advertising yourself, all these people are advertising for you, but like in new, different ways that probably really isn't even possible for like some other big company that just wanted to advertise, because it's like the Humble Bundle thing. There's people doing the marathons. It's like it's just like from all angles, people are finding out about Child's Play charity, and it's just cool to be able to see like people being able to donate just through different avenues.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, they're not all digital either. Like right now, there's a gentleman doing a run across the states, and he's stopping. It's really amazing. He's stopping at Child's Play hospitals all across the country.
Oh wow!
And he's doing like that the old fashioned run for a charity, right, where he's going across the country and doing stopping at various Child's Play stops, and it's sort of like the classic marathon now. Usually when we marathon, we're thinking an online marathon, but no, he is actually using his legs. And it's pretty cool. We're just like, wow, that is so awesome, and certainly probably painful as well.
For all sorts of communities.
For all sorts of things. That's right. But so he is spreading the word in a very traditional way. So that's really amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely cool to see people take the ball and run with it, and you guys just focus on the work. Just like keep the charity together, and everyone's out there just spreading the name. It's crazy.
Yeah, people come up with the craziest things, I tell you.
Yeah, I've seen Harry Potter themed, Pokemon themed at different conventions like that I've heard of. Crazy stuff like that.
Absolutely bizarre what people will come up with, and I mean, Desert Bus is another example of that. When they the first year that they did Desert Bus, and they sort of pitched it to us. They're like, we want to do this thing where we play this really boring video game. We thought, are you crazy? Like, what are you talking about? But it was crazy successful. So yeah, totally strange.
It's funny because like we're involved in the Let's Play community, and that event kind of almost solidifies the fact that it's not about the game or what you're doing in the game. It's about the personality that provides the entertainment, because right there, it's the most boring game ever, right? But they provide so much entertainment that not only are people watching it, they're getting people to want to donate to this charity and help out a cause. So yeah,
exactly. Crazy. It's certainly, to say, well, it's a video game marathon where they're playing a boring game. Well, I mean, that's like not even the tip of the iceberg, right? Because that's really not what it's about. It's about the community coming together. It's about everybody in the chat entertaining each other, and all of the stories that are happening around the game. Which, I mean, I don't know if you guys have watched it, but if you watch the bus camera, if you're actually watching the game, you can only watch it for so long before you die of boredom. It in itself is completely not interesting.
Right.
But it's everything else that's going on.
I've never seen that one, but I've seen like ADGQ and
Yeah,
I hope I did
you
that
know,
right. 80.
there's
Yeah.
you know, yeah, there's a lot of different games that people play and activities that they do, and even things like, you know, spaghetti dinners. We've seen people just do like on campus. That's
Oh
when we
yeah,
get
yeah, I heard about
like
that.
a video game campus group or something
I
like
think
that,
there
or
are
a
a few of
D&D
those
club,
people at
whatever.
the
Yeah,
panel.
exactly. And they'll do a thing where they have a dinner and everybody donates or whatever, like whatever things people decide to do. It's pretty cool.
So, okay, we talked about all these people helping out and helping promote the charity and helping drive in donations, but what are the biggest challenges of running the charity, and what are some things to look out for in terms of people scamming and stuff like that?
Oh, great questions. Probably the easiest way to find out if a fundraiser is legit is by seeing if it's on our events page and seeing if it has a Child's Play donation widget. We have actually had this. I don't know if you ever. What were the PayPal ones called? I can't remember. They had a donation widget that you could use. You add to your website, and it would do all of the back end stuff automatically. Well, we have our own now that's specifically for Child's Play stuff. And if you go to the Child's Play website, all of those tools are there, and it's all automatic. It's all built in to our system, and we have to manually approve each one, though. So that, I mean, either we approve it or we don't if there's something fishy about it. So if it's been approved with a Child's Play widget, you know automatically that it's good to go. So that's the number one thing I think people should be looking for. And then, of course, I mean, Jamie and I are both always available and always approachable, and a lot of times, you know, we have had people email us saying, you know, hey, this is going on, but I'm not, you know, this event or whatever, I'm not sure if it's you know, fully on the up and up, and we'll certainly let you know if it's, you know, if it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down. But I mean, that doesn't happen very often, that anything is shady. But if anyone has concerns, they're certainly welcome to get in touch with us and let us know. The biggest challenges,
Taxes.
well, fortunately, we don't have to do all of those by ourselves. I guess it just that it's better now that we've got David on board. But I mean, we do try to run really thin and really light, and it is a lot of work for Jamie and I, particularly Jamie, because she does the majority of all of the day-to-day stuff, and the community management and everything. And there's just we're so involved with all of it, and we are only two people, so it's crazy busy, but it's a good crazy. Like, we love it.
Yeah,
absolutely love it. So
I was gonna say,
I wouldn't call that a challenge.
I was going to guess the biggest challenge you would say would be looking through the inbox the way you were talking earlier.
yeah. But it's hard, but we love it. Like you could never drag either of us away from it, I think.
And plus,
it's never
all the
hard,
puppy photos.
Plus the puppy photos. That's the hardest part of our job, is picking the puppy photos for our panel.
It could be. I was going to say, it could be a lot of work, but it's never hard if in the end you know that you're helping someone else with it.
Yeah, and
it makes it all worth it.
Just the people that I get to talk to every day, and who are sharing stories that are difficult for them to share, but are important for them to share. I think it's hard to put into words, but I think Jamie would agree with me that the best part about our jobs are the people. The people that we talk to and that we get to meet, who are doing something that is so generous and so selfless. And it's just an honor to talk to every single person who is involved with the Child's Play fundraiser and to hear their stories. And we both really love it.
Just an unbelievable amount of positivity, you know?
Yeah,
I couldn't walk out of that panel without feeling like, you know, the world's not so bad after all, you know? Like, you just walk out with a smile on your face. And
yeah, exactly.
So finally, I'm just gonna ask, what can people do to help on an individual level, just so people listening might want to pitch in, or
Sure.
we actually advertise doing little small charity streams for either each other or a charity like you guys.
That's right. And yeah, Play It Forward is a great way to tap into all of those events. So that's what you guys are what the whole podcast is for, is a good way to find out what's going on. Our website at childsplaycharity.org has a page, an events page, which outlines what you would want to do if you want to produce your own event, or do your own thing. If you wanted to put together a marathon or a let's play that would benefit charity, or a stream or whatever, there's lots of information there, and there's also like an events calendar of things that are going on that people have already put together, where you could just spectate and take part and maybe donate if you like what they're doing there. There's also kind of sort of the most hands-off way to support Child's Play is by purchasing something off of one of the hospital wish lists, and those you can access as well from the Child's Play website on the donate page. If you click the donate page, you'll find a map of all of our partner hospitals worldwide, and most of those hospitals have a wish list of items that are useful for them, or that they've requested. And
that's really cool. So
yeah,
you could
buy
pick
them
someone near you if you want to, help out.
That's right. Yeah, you can see if your local facility is already a Child's Play partner.
Awesome.
And if they are, you can buy something that is shipped directly to that hospital. We never touch the donations; they don't go through our hands. They all go direct to the facilities.
Too cool.
Yeah, and if your local facility is not part of our network, you can maybe look into having them join, and that would be just emailing us. You can reach us. There's an About page on the website too, and you can send an email to us, and we can look into getting your local facility involved. We'd really love to have a hospital in every state, which we don't. We're missing just a few that we would really like to have a representation. So that's kind of our dream for this year, to see if we can fill in our map. And we also have hospitals in other places around the world that are a little different in terms of the red tape of getting them involved, but they're available as well for supporting.
Awesome. So one last time, that's childsplaycharity.org. I don't know if you guys have a Twitter that you want to...
We do. It's CP Charity.
There you go, at CP Charity.
Yeah, at CP Charity.
Thank you so much for joining us.
It's been a real pleasure. Thanks, guys. We've had a great time.
Yep, and now she's gone forever.
Yep, forever. She's gone forever. Off to some hospital in some foreign land. Mm-hmm. Something with Chucky.
Something with Chucky. Right. We took in a lot from that interview, if you couldn't tell. We learned a lot today.
No, in all seriousness, we did, and I think you did as well, mostly at the PAX convention, like you said. And the thing is, we've done some streams before. I haven't done many in a while. The Play It Forward streams for people in the community to raise awareness and bring attention to people's channels. And this is something from day one we've wanted to do and we've thought about. It's actually in the banner, right, for the Play It Forward podcast, doing charity streams, not just
talking about it.
yeah, not just like promoting people, but actually raising dollars for charity as well. And considering, of course, we had the one of the key members of one of 3 people of Child's Play Charity on the podcast. I mean, getting to know how much they've helped in ways that they even wouldn't have imagined, it makes us think like we should go ahead and at least do some kind of Child's Play charity stream down the road, and of course switch it up, do some kind of charity streams for other charities and everything like that.
Right.
So we've kind of been discussing it, and we want to see what you guys think.
Right, and another thing is we could do this charity event if you guys want to help out with it. I mean, we're just planning it at the very basis right now, but if you're interested, please let us know in the comments. If you want to help out at all, let us know in the comments, and we can contact you, through PMs and stuff. And then the other thing is, perhaps, in the Play It Forward name, somehow we can start some sort of chain, because that's always been kind of the goal, where we help someone out, and then, they're kind of required, not required, but morally required to help someone else out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The old, name 5 people and then they name 5 people. Those YouTube chains do that, except for raising money or raising awareness or just helping each other out. Like, I know we've done streams to like help people buy new equipment to record with, just helping each other out in the community. So there's that too.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, if you guys are interested in maybe doing a big Play It Forward Child's Play event, let us know in the comments. We'll try and organize something for some time. Hopefully sometime in the summer when a lot of people are home and bored.
Yeah, and have free time so we can get like maybe do like some kind of marathon stream,
Right.
get a lot of different people being able to switch off and everything. Of course, we'll need people that are going to be there in the chat to help out with modding and everything like that, you know.
Right.
So anybody that wants to help out in any way, just kind of let us know. Email us or comment on this podcast, anything, hit us up on Twitter. Just kind of we're in the beginning stages of coming up with the concept for this. And when we do it, I think we want to make it something unique, not just be like, okay, we're going to play mini games for like
Right.
a couple hours or something. Make it some kind of event where it's like a big event that everybody wants to be a part of, So
Right.
make it
And
something special.
Even if we only end up raising a little bit of money, like we said, $1 for an app that'll affect, thousands of kids. So
Exactly. Yep.
if we can even make a little bit of a difference, that would be great. So let us know, and thank you for listening to the Play It Forward podcast.
See you guys next time in 3 weeks.
3 to 1 weeks.
3 to 1 weeks.
Dear little New Orleans, girl.